Your name, please.
Jordan Grabouski.
And where are you from?
Beatrice, Nebraska.
Jordan, who influenced you and how did you get started in racing?
My uncle Mike actually ran asphalt cars. He was from Denver, Colorado. And so when we were a kid, growing up, we'd seen his asphalt cars, and then came out to, have my dad take me out to Beatrice Speedway when I was a kid, and that's how I got started in racing. I loved it ever since my uncle Mike, and he actually purchased my first race car for me. So he's passed on now, but it's he's probably the number one reason why I race today. So yeah, I think I was around 7 years old when 6, 7, when we're around the kindergarten area, I would say 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
He had asphalt late models and raced, and he's from Colorado, and he used to be pretty good, have good looking race cars and stuff, and it really intrigued me. And that's so then we started watching the races out here. My dad used to take me in, and me and my dad sit in the stands on a Saturday. That's back when they were on Saturday nights here at Beatrice Speedway, and that's probably I remember those the good old days, and sit up in the stands and watch. Had a whole bunch of favorite racers and different classes and drivers. And
okay. So what gives you the itch to get out there and compete the way you do each week?
I think the biggest thing is we just like to win, and I've always been competitive. Even my job, you got to be competitive to sell cars, and so there's right there is probably. I would say my competitiveness, my drive to want to win, and I always said it when you go to the racetrack and you can't win or not going to be competitive, that's probably the day that I hang it up.
Okay, this question was submitted from somebody on my website, so it's a tough one. How would you have felt if you could only have tied Johnny Sadoff's record?
I still think I would have felt, just the night that we actually tied it, it was still, when they actually brought it to my attention that night after the races, I never thought of it. I asked the question, I wonder how many in a row, somebody had gotten back in the day, and I had a feeling that Sadoff had the record, but didn't know if somebody earlier, before I was born, older racer or something that would have that record. But I think it's just an accomplishment to tie it, and then to break it is crazy. It's to think that, to think that we even have a shot at, keep going with it, or how cool would it be to win the whole season out? It's probably not going to happen, and everything has fallen our way to get to this point. But it's definitely cool to be competitive around here, and lately we've raced around a little bit. We've been kind of competitive everywhere we've been. Just a lot of hard work, though.
Let me ask you that. What other tracks do you race on?
Well, right now we're trying to race for points, so we kind of have to run around our area. We race on Thursday nights at US 30 Speedway in Columbus, Nebraska. Friday nights we race here at Beatrice Speedway. Saturday nights we've been racing at Eagle Raceway. And then hit and miss, we've traveled around. We went to Hays, Kansas a couple weeks ago, or a weekend ago. We went up to 141 Speedway, Toby Cruz's racetrack. We've been to Marshalltown. We've been, we'll go to Las Vegas in November for the Duel in the Desert. We try to travel, but, try to stay home and work as much as possible as we can too.
So would you say you have a home track?
Oh, for sure, our home track's Beatrice Speedway.
Okay, I've asked this question to other people, racers. I've heard there's a family atmosphere here, and people will bend over backwards for each other. Do you see that here too?
Absolutely, I do. I think that at times this family, the racing family, you should say. They don't like to see you win sometimes because they want to see other people win, and they might boo you on a Friday night. But then when all the out-of-towners come in and you can win at a spring or a fall nationals or something, all the people that are booing you are cheering for you because they don't want the out-of-towners to beat you, So it's definitely a family atmosphere. Everybody has love-hate relationships. And
well, I've heard that other crews will come in and help you change tires and fix your motor if you need it.
I think there's a lot of that goes on, and that's what it takes to race is people. It's an atmosphere you create, and people, if they don't like the atmosphere, they won't come race there, and so that's why, Derek talked about it a little bit at the pit meeting on Friday night, that everybody needs to, make sure that their social media is supportive of Beatrice Speedway, because we don't realize how fortunate we have it here and how good of a racetrack that it really is.
Great. Now, I want to get into why it is that you are able to do what you do. If you were teaching a class on racing, what would you teach your students?
I think effort is the biggest thing. No matter if you are a basketball player or a baseball player, you're only going to get out of it. Whatever you put in it, you're going to get out of it. I feel. People have talent. People are better at things. Some things come a lot easier for some people than things. But I think the biggest thing is effort and being a student of the game and taking good notes and working in the shop every night on your race car to try to make it better. I mean, it's everything to go and get sponsors. I mean, that's tough because it takes a lot of money to do this stuff. I'm fortunate. I have a really good job and I have a lot of really good sponsors that support me and people that back me.
I recorded the last 6 laps of your last race, and I just watched you pass everybody. And I was thinking, what is it you know that they don't know? I mean, how can you get around them?
Well, a lot of Beatrice is, I grew up racing here. I grew up helping Johnny Sadoff, when I was a kid. And so I've got a lot of watching laps and a lot of laps behind the steering wheel here. And it's just, we have a really good setup on our race car that works good at Beatrice, and it seems like this year so far I've done a good job getting through traffic and not tearing my car up. That can change any night, and you can have a bad night and have a DNF or have a flat tire or something like that. So I think just right now, everything, I feel like I've been doing a good job driving the racetrack, and my crew and everybody's done a great job setting the car up and making the right changes when we need to make them for Beatrice.
Okay, I always ask this question too. What class do you drive and why do you choose that class?
Well, we drive a modified just because that's what I started, IMC modified. But I like to drive that stock car too. It's fun because it's a different challenge. It's different people you race against, and it's tough. It's just a different a feel in the race car. So I'd drive anything if the opportunity was right. But the modified, just for around here, that's the races for the best pay, and that's what we know. So
some people say the pay might get you a tire.
It's tough. It's tough, but and that's why you got to have the sponsors, and that's why you got to have the people, because without them, there's nobody out there that can race, a competitive level like what we need to. Without sponsors and backing and people, buying us diesel fuel to go travel, to go run for points. So it's a combination. It takes a lot of people to make it.
Then I want you to give me a shout out to your crew and give me a shout out to a few of your sponsors.
The biggest thing is I got Bryson Fralin helping me this year. I've got Josh Hausman, which is my brother-in-law, Eric Ebling, might as well be my brother-in-law, and Steve Derman helps us, my dad, my wife, she puts up with all of us and tries to cook and clean and help us do the best we can. I keep my race car out at the farm at the shop, so my grandma, my aunt Sue, it's kind of a family thing, it really is. There's a lot of people involved to help me do what I do, and a lot of people that want to see us win and want to see us competitive, and those are the first ones to say, "What, you got second? What happened?" So you feel like you don't want to let them down either.
Okay, my last final question is, what would you say to those people who have never been to a race to get them to come down and watch you get involved?
I just definitely think that racing's not for everybody. It's intriguing to me to watch golf because it's so competitive. It comes down to the last hole, and golf's not very exciting to watch, but it's the competitiveness. So that's what I'd say. Anybody that wants to watch or just wants to go, it depends on what racetrack you go to, but just wants to go watch. You go and watch sprint cars. That's you don't see those every racetrack that you go to. So there's different things that different people like about going to the races, and it's an atmosphere. It's until you're there and really can feel the motors and the sounds and the smells and everything that it produces, then you maybe never think you'd be interested in it until you actually go or take your kids to watch them.